Good afternoon. My name is Rhina Rehmann. I'm coming from El Salvador, Central America. We have had a revival of indigo because it was a heritage from El Salvador. In the 16 and 1700s, we have also export indigo to Europe. This is my farm. This is Indigofera subfruticosa and guatemalensis. We did the revival because after the Civil War, the German government asked the Salvadorian government to find some productive projects to reinsert the fighters, guerrilla soldiers after the Civil War because they had no job and also no abilities in nothing. So I was in charge to look after the projects, and then I saw, after doing a pre-feasibility study, that indigo was the answer for this kind of project. Because what we wanted is that these fighters don't go back to the weapons. And so they should have a very quick answer, economical answer to the necessities they have in his families. So for me, the result of this project was that indigo is an instrument of peace. Like Gandhi did with the British government, that he could make or celebrate the independence of India, well, our fighters found again a job and a form to live with dignity. The benefits of the production of indigo, because everybody speaks nice things about indigo, but we have to see also which benefits we have. We have an association called Azules, where all the farmers and also dyers are associated, and that way we can see that governments help us, or NGOs, or even civil people. Then the farmers had a new way to work and to learn other kind of crops, because we depend only on sugarcane and coffee. And as the time of the indigo, it was only indigo. The only thing we have cultivated at that time. We have lived more than 300 years only from indigo, the whole country. Then we had the opportunity also to start to make a market surveys, because you know, when you do only coffee or sugarcane, you don't need to search for anything. So this gives us the opportunity to make market surveys and research in other countries, and also for the dyers was also a good way to see what they have to do, what is going on in the world. Then we start using the indigo powder in handicrafts and cosmetics. For example, my biggest buyer in Germany use it for hair dyeing. So he is the biggest importer of natural ingredients in Europe, and he delivered my product to the whole Europe. We create also a national demand, because at that time, as we start the project, nobody knew about indigo, and nobody was working with indigo. Now we have about 800 artisans that are working with the indigo, and if you count that each family has 8 persons working in that, you see like that you have good demand on job, and people is happy because they have something to do. And that way we can stop criminality. The offer, what I will explain after the strategy we had, but it was to export a high value product, to add value to the product. Also, we could develop bank credit that have never existed before. And you know, for the poor people, this is the biggest problem. And then we had also the new task force for designers, handicrafts, and well, people doing also cosmetics like soaps, and well, it's really a big opportunity to start new products. What we still have to do is to study the toxicity because many people say we don't have any blue in food, but because we don't have this research, then we cannot sell for food. I start, after I have finished the project, that we have started at the end of 1994, and it was finished at the year 2000. Then I start my own project with indigo, because I saw that the people even was a little scared to start a new crop. And so I decided, well, I have done so much for these people, so I have to continue supporting them. But I don't have the money, so I start also my crop. This was at the year 2000. My strategy was to make it organic, because I was seeing the high demand of organic products in the world. And the growing every year, since the last 25 years, has been 25% per year. Some years less, maybe 15, but always was a sector that has grown. That's why I develop eco-friendly products, agrotourism. And why agrotourism? Because I don't have the money to promote my product. So through tourism, I explain the people the history of indigo in El Salvador. That starts with the Mayas. The Mayas have used indigo, then came the colony, the Spaniard, and they introduced then a bigger production, because the Mayas were producing the indigo in the canoes where they have transport everything through the rivers. So that was the reason to start it in a semi-industrial way. And then I do also textiles that I sell, not a big production, but I sell my products to National Geographic. Always I try to be different. My difference is I am organic, I do high quality, and I also try to deliver on time. Because this is a big headache for all the buyers of indigo. You know, they have confidence in us, and then we don't deliver. In India, for example, if they have a marriage, a wedding, there is no indigo production. So this is a big problem. This is the way we the way we export in these containers, plastic containers, 10 kg each one, or in the plastic bags at the local market. And these are some, for example, at the right is some silk dye direct in the extraction tank. So you can see the different color. And at the back is silk, making in a normal bath. So you see, there is a difference between dyeing directly or dyeing with some chemicals, or even I do also ecological baths, but the dyers don't like that because they have to keep so much intensive labor to keep the bath alive. And that is the reason why they don't like. And also the colors are more pale. I do promotional articles. When I have tours, I decorate like that, and the tourists can buy my products, or I have a small store also. I do workshops to show the more artisans how to work. And the dyes you see there, they have been done in a tour of Montessori children, 2.5 to 4 years of age. As I say, I'm trying to be different. I do tapestries, replicas from Maya murals from the walls. In Mexico, you can see how the Mayas have used the indigo, and I do it in textile. Here I'm having groups of students. I have a lot of students now. I am working with the Emory University of Atlanta to teach the entrepreneurs that are doing masters how to use natural dyes. But in the meantime, I will explain you also the strategy for marketing we had. First was to export our products and sell our products with a certificate of purity. We have bring some experts from Switzerland to show the 5 laboratories how to evaluate the purity of our indigo. So when you buy indigo of El Salvador of Hacienda Los Nacimientos, you will have a certificate from a lab that says which indigo tin content I have. It is not the same that I am saying, I have a good quality, and you dye a small piece of textile and send the batch. No, I sent it with the certificate. And this was because we say, well, we have to make the price on the basis of indigo tin content and ashes. India has 42% of ashes. I have 3%. And this, I will tell you how I reach this marketing strategy. Well, I will not say too much. In the pictures, what you see is, for example, we are making the sterilization of the soil. We have to leave, cover these parcels for 3 or 4 weeks until is no contamination there in the soil. And then we start plowing the soil. Since we are organic, we cannot use tractors because tractors destroy the microsystem of the soil. That's why we use everything what is manual. As you see now, we have already planned, make ready the nursery. This will start in May, because the rainy season starts in May. And then we leave the plants that they grow on a height of 40 centimeters high. Then we transplant to the field, where it's going to stay for 3 years. I could leave longer or forever the plants there. But with the time, the indigo tin content gets lower. And since we sell per quality and not volume, we have to be very careful that we have that high quality always. Then we also make our own fertilizers. We make vermicomposts, and for example, from the leaves of the indigo, I make compost. And in the compost, I add banana trunks because I have to add potassium. And then I also add drumstick tree waste because drumstick had an enzyme, growing enzyme. So everything will grow 30% more without using any chemicals. And from the water, recycled water, we do foliar fertilizers. Then manual, we remove the weeds. This is where I have the biggest cost because I do it through until the plant has enough height and cover the soil. I have to do more or less 3 times. And per hectare, I need 18 people working on that. So this is a big cost. Then we do also our biopesticides with neem. As you see, I have many things from India. That's the reason why I am always in India, learning from India. And then I do my own products. And then we mix also with chili. Now I'm everywhere recollecting different kinds of chilies that are really hot. And onions, garlic, and this is what you see how they spray on the plants. Then also another thing we do is we harvest using shears, because normally everybody in all countries, they use the machete. But if I use the machete, then I make a very strong heave, and then the plant, the roots, don't go to the same place where they were placed. So the plant will become weak. And since I am organic and I cannot use herbicides or strong things, then I have to see that my children are really strong to fight anything. And you have to see the plant really like a child. If you see that it's so sad, and so go and see. You have to investigate what is going on in that plant. Organic, the organic system is really difficult because you don't have a manual to read, but you have a heart where you feel how this plant can grow more. And the machete is the reason why I don't use, because if the plant is weak, because the roots are not in the same, and the central root has to be in the same place. So it will get every pest it comes. No, so that is the way also I show respect to my indigo plants, because I love my indigo plants. Then the other thing that we are, where we are different is that we weight every batch of leaves we put in the extraction tank. And why? This is more work and more money. But the more expensive natural resource is water. And if I am spending and wasting the water, then you can tell me after some years what happened. This is why we have to take care of the water, and we need a lot of water to produce indigo. What I did also to make quality control. Normally, when you export food, you have the system HACCP. This is where you measure the high risks what you can have in food process. This I took and adapt to my process of indigo. So everything we do in the process is written down every day. And that's why I don't need to be there with it, saying, what are you doing? Why don't you work? This is not right. They do it itself. They really every day see, here we have made something wrong. Mrs. Rehmann is going to be angry. So let's check pH, temperature, humidity, everything. And that's the way I control without being there. And with this, I could lower the cost production on 30%. And this is very high. And also I standardize my indigo. I cannot do any more bad indigo. It's a big dilemma because I ask for a high price and some people say, well, we cannot pay that. But my indigo tin content is always high. It's between 50 and 60. So this is the way we do the extraction, pruning, waiting, and then soak the leaves for 16 hours to 21 hours. Depends on the temperature of the, I don't know what happened here. And then we do the oxidation for 1 hour. You see, 2 people are outside, not inside, because I say, no, I have to have a more human process. I don't want that my people goes inside the tank. So for 1 hour, they beat the water. Another thing that I have also is that always, in this picture you don't see that, but normally it's a woman and a man, because the woman needs work. They normally are the ones who are feeding the family, so that's why it's norm always to have a woman. She has to move 3,000 liters of water during 1 hour, non-stop. It's a hard work. But now, the one who is training my suppliers is a woman. Then we have 10 to 21 hours of sedimentation. Then the filter process, we call it washing the indigo, because the water will come blue from the first, and then they put again and put again during 20 hours, 21, until the water is transparent, has no color. Heat process, heat and not boiling. This is the secret. If you boil, you are quemar, se me olvidó ya ahorita. Yes, no, pero quemar es burning. You are burning the glucose. That indigo is glucose, and if you put high heat, you burn the glucose, and then you are selling ashes and not indigo. You see a thermometer there? We measure everything. And then we dry on the sun 5 days. If it's raining, then we have built an artisanal oven where we heat with little wood. Also, and as you saw where I was heating the indigo, they use very little wood, because I don't want deforestation. We really take care of the environment. And in the sun, as I said, 5 days, and if it's raining, we put it in the oven. What we heat with little wood, then when it's already heat, then we put the trays and take the wood out. So then we make the first grinding process at the farm. It will be very rustic. Nixtamal is the grinder for our flour of our chapatis. And then we take it to San Salvador to grind it with a professional treater because it has to be like talcum. And then the ninth step is we make the indigo tin analysis and we get the certificate from the lab. And we make packing, labeling for the export, and we have 3 certifications because this was another strategy for marketing. How can I compete with big producers? I am very small. But I say, well, I have to have organic certification, and I have to have global organic textile standard from Soil Association in London, and IMO control and EcoCert from France, Switzerland, Austria, Germany. And this gives me a lot of support because all buyers that don't deal with organic, they prefer to buy organic. So this is all. So I hope you have understand a little the way I do. But if you make the things with love, then everything is possible. I started as I was 52, now I am 72.